Meeting order to order, and welcome everyone. And I'll ask Jay to lead us in. Yes, we do have a flag. Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Jay. Okay, the next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of our meeting from July 20. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Been moved by Joe,
Second.
seconded by Jay. Any additions or corrections? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Kevin Loki, we have an update on our local labor monitoring.
I do. Hello.
Hi there, welcome.
So here real quick.
That looks like a lot of equipment.
A little bit.
Okay.
All right. So this is our July monthly report. It covers our business between July 1st and July 31st of 2021. During this period, we made 83 monthly site visits. We made 5 follow-up visits, We checked with residency with 865 workers during this period. Of those, we had 10 issues of non-compliance. 6 of those are no proof of residence, 4 out of area. In regards to USRE Manitou, we reported 272 local, 63 out of area. That project is subject to a 70% compliance. As of July 31st, 2021, all monitored sites were in compliance at the time of our inspection. We had 2 new COMIDA signs delivered to 10 Winthrop Street LLC and 39 Jetview Drive LLC. Any questions?
How are we coming on being able to report on the actual compliance?
The overall percentage number with
Manitou Road.
hopefully soon. Basically, they have to put all the old numbers for the initial 3 months when they didn't have the system in place yet. That still needs to be implemented, those numbers, and then hopefully I can get an accurate overall percentage that we can report on a weekly basis. They're supposed to have those reports generated on Wednesdays. So hopefully on Wednesdays, we'll be able to give you a number that's an overall percentage of, what labor looks like in totality.
So do we know when we'll be able to start getting that data?
Hopefully by next week. They've had some issues and delays with the system and whoever's supposed to set it up, but I'm hoping by next week anyways. I have tested the system. I've gone to the site and actually worked with it to see how it works and if it is effective. In my opinion, it is. It's just a matter of waiting until we can have actual hard numbers to get the overall compliance. And again, I can send that out weekly once we have it in place.
I think that'd be great.
Me too.
And I could add in that the building trades president, Grant Malone, and myself have been attending bi-weekly. I do have an updated report from last Thursday. They are breaking it down, local, non-local, minority, ethnicity, residents. They're showing where they are in our counties. They're breaking it down pretty defined. The iron worker right now is a double out of town, out of area. So there is some work to do to get to the 70%. They are showing in good faith that they have dragged back some of the project to offer it to local contractors again.
Good.
So it's going the way we anticipated, and I appreciate you.
And the meetings are helpful, I think you'd agree.
Yes,
And getting everyone on the same page and being able to look at things down the line before they become problematic and try to find local solutions before out of areas can be considered. So.
Thanks for that, Troy.
Yeah.
That's helpful.
And the badging system is now up and working, I take it?
Correct.
Fantastic. Thank you.
They did offer all board members to get the app to go on site and to exercise the app if there is a question. So they have opened the door for us.
If anyone wanted to come and visit with me when I go to the site anytime, I'd be happy to take anyone on a tour of the site with their development team so you can familiarize yourself a little more with the project, the badging system, and see how it works in real time.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that would be great.
All right, we'd like that.
Definitely, okay. Any other questions for me?
Thank you.
All right, have a great afternoon.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is the local labor exemption report. Brian,
Good afternoon.
good afternoon.
I do not, as normal, have any local labor exemptions to actually report on this month. But what I wanted to do is just build on a little bit of what Kevin just mentioned, just to give the board an update relative to what's happening at Manitou. We do continue, as Troy mentioned, we do continue to meet with them once a week or once every 2 weeks on site, as well as once a week via board Zoom meetings to get updates on the local labor. I did want to mention that, as Troy said, they have given us some draft numbers relative to the percentages. But we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the steelworkers. As Troy just mentioned, the steelworkers are going to be a challenge in that everybody is working together to try to find local options for the steelworkers, but the local steel haul has been exhausted essentially, and they don't have enough workers, at least projected going forward as the steel workers required on the site increases. I project that there's going to be more folks from out of the area that are going to be there. It's going to negatively impact the overall 70% on-site waiver. So I just wanted to put that out there proactively. That, I mean, if you were to take that steel work out of it, I think they're comfortably within the local labor 70% mark. But once the steel is added in there, I think it's going to be a challenge to get to that 70, or it may be a challenge to get to that 70%.
What do you think it's going to be?
It's hard to predict because, as Troy mentioned, we're still working, trying to pull out parts of it that can be transitioned over to local folks. We don't know how successful that's going to be. But, you know, it's hard to predict, especially as the numbers go up, you know, as they ramp up. I think they might have up to 150 steel workers. Right now, I think they have maybe 90 or something like that. But as it gets higher and the local haul is exhausted of workers, the percentage of them being out of the area increases. So,
Is this unexpected? I mean, I thought with the iron workers, we figured there was going to be a chunk. Is it higher than we thought?
yeah, the iron workers originally coming in, when they bid on the project, they said that they would be able to provide 75% local. That's what they were hoping, or that's what they
In their thought?
committed, and it's not.
And they're falling short.
They're falling short of that. They just don't have the resources.
Okay.
Troy and Grant Malone and I have been meeting with them, trying to, you know, pull some pieces out to give to local, but it's not that easy.
Okay, that's very helpful. Any other questions for Brian?
Just as long as, you know, we're giving local labor a fair shake.
On back to Kevin's report, out of area plug power, I see there was 4. I talked to Kevin, they've been removed, and there is a waiver pending on plug power.
Yes, the waiver is in process with Plug Power. We're trying to work through the details on that.
Thanks, Brian.
Okay, any other questions? All right, thanks, Brian.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, Greg, how about our financial update? Are we still in business? Are
Still
we paying our bills?
We are.
Okay,
Thanks, everyone. Good afternoon.
good afternoon.
7 months through our year, again, our cash and our financial position continue to remain strong. 8.2 million through July, and you can see where we were just 7 months ago at 6.6, and then just a little historic look. You know, in terms of our cash position, 2020 at the same time we were about 7.2. 2019 we were about 7.8. 2018 we were about 6.5, and 2017 we were about 6.6. So after that challenging year last year, we've rebounded quite well and then some. So we continue to obviously close, you know, some significant projects, and you know, through our year-to-date numbers, like I said, same conversation, real strong year, one of the strongest years on record, at least in the past 8 years. You can see where fee revenue is through 7 months, 2.3 million, and expenses are still maintaining pretty steady. So we managed to, you know, continue to build that back up, that excess over what we spend. And then, like I said, just a historical fee revenue to see how far the organization has come in the past years. In 2018, our fee income was about $340,000. 2019 was a good year at about 1.7. Last year is always a hard year to kind of look and benchmark just because of the COVID, but you can see it's 566. So real strong year, continue to move forward and see that continue, and certainly throughout the next 5 months to the end of the year.
The strong rebound.
For sure.
We're making up for last time from last year. It's very impressive. Any questions for Greg? All right. Good job. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Greg.
Okay, we now are going to have comments from the public. We have one person signed up to speak, and that's Grant Malone. Welcome, Grant.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Grant Malone. I am the current Rochester Building Trades Council President. I want to thank you for this opportunity to address this council. Just an informational, we represent 18 construction trades councils in Monroe County, which adds up to about 15,000 tradesmen and women here in the area. I'm here, one of the reasons I'm here today is I'm addressing the board because our council is concerned with the amount of out-of-state contracts we're seeing on some of the COMIDA projects in the county. Just an FYI, you know who we are, what we do. For people that don't know us, we all know who Troy is, our representative on the board. We support local labor, we support local projects, and we support this local IDA board. I thought it was important to take the time to let the council know that whatever we can do to help, please reach out. That's what we're here for. And Troy's our liaison, but I'm here every day also, and I have a couple of my other trades council members here. So just an FYI for who we are, I thought it was important to let you know and meet myself and thank Troy for what he does for us and the council. Thank you.
Thank you, Grant. Okay, and that was the end of the public comment period. Okay, we will move forward with our projects. The first one is Home Leasing LLC. Anna?
Thank you. Home Leasing LLC, a developer, is proposing to acquire and redevelop an existing commercial building into a mixed-use, mixed-income community in the city of Rochester. The project will consist of 134 affordable apartments for low-income older adults and will provide 77,000 square feet of manufacturing space for Hickey Freeman. The studio and one-bedroom apartments will be for households at less than 40% and up to 70% of area median income. Home Leasing LLC plans to create 5 new FTEs. The $53 million project is seeking a custom shelter rent, real property tax abatement, mortgage recording tax, and sales tax exemptions. The project is subject to receiving New York State approvals for investment, and the cost-to-benefit ratio is 4-to-1.
Okay, thank you. We have Brett Garwood here with us today. Hi, Brett. How are you?
Good, thank you for having us.
Would you like to elaborate on what Anna just said?
Sure, we've been working, so I'm Brett Gard, I'm CEO of Home Leasing. Home Leasing is a locally owned, family-owned, for-profit company. We have both a development company and a construction company. We are very active locally, doing a lot of work you might have heard of before. So this project is about the acquisition of the Hickey Freeman property. It's 6 acres, 225,000 square feet. Everyone here has heard of Hickey Freeman. We've been working with them for the last couple of years on a concept that would allow them to continue operations, but relieve them of the burden of a property that is 3 times larger than they need, so that they can continue operations at the scale they currently are, but in a much more efficient place. And with the additional, with the remaining space, we are going to create 134 units of affordable housing targeted to seniors, a third of which will be targeted to frail seniors who will have supportive services. We think this combination is great because of the obvious reason that you preserve this economic asset in the neighborhood, which has been there for 100 years. But not only that, you're addressing a great need in the neighborhood as well. Senior housing, there's concentration of impoverished seniors in Northeast Rochester is among the highest in the state, even higher than in the Bronx. And we feel like that, service that we'll be providing really blends in well with what else is going on in the Northeast Rochester. You've seen a lot of activity, family housing, supportive housing, some economic activity in the new plaza there on North Clinton. This is kind of a missing piece to serve people who've lived there for a long time, but aren't adequately housed or appropriately housed. So we have a lot of work remaining to do. We're working with the city, obviously, in New York State, and we hope that we can move this project forward next spring. And this is one of the stops along the way that's kind of a critical patch right now for us to secure our tax payment.
So the low-income senior housing units, is it expected that this would be sort of the live-work concept, where a percentage of those that are actually living in these new apartments would be working for Hickey Freeman?
What's really neat is that Hickey Freeman employs a real wide range of people, but lots of people do live in the neighborhood. And we think that our senior housing is 55 and older. So there are clearly people who are 55 that are still working. And so we hope that it'll attract some people who work there, who also want to live there, but also it could be retirees and other people that live in the neighborhood but used to work at the Hickey Freeman location. Yeah.
Wonderful reuse.
Oh yeah, we're really excited.
Rather than just selling out and Hickey Freeman having to move to a smaller facility. And
Exactly. We've done a lot of adaptive reuse of historic buildings, and I've been part of those types of projects across the state. Usually you take a vacant building that had a manufacturing facility 10 or 20 or 30 or 40 years ago, and you're making housing out of it. It's really special and important that in this case will actually preserve the economic asset.
Questions?
Do you know off the top of your head what the area median income is?
The area median income for the Rochester area is something like $50,000. Is the family area median income. So 60% of the area median income is something like $30,000.
Would there be many questions?
What's that?
I think it's more like 70 for 100% family of 4.
Oh, but that's family of 4.
Yeah.
We're talking
Right.
we're talking one person households, right? So our
The only part that I'm curious about is, when you mentioned people who are working at Hickey Freeman, would Hickey Freeman be paying that low wages for someone to qualify at the 40 to 70% of AMI?
I think in some cases that would be true, but not in all cases, for sure.
Could be the senior component, I guess.
Right. So we're going to have units that are affordable to people as low as 30 and 40% and up to 70%. So it's quite a wide range. I can get you the data.
That's why I was asking where the AMI was, just to get a sense.
So minimum wage is $12.50. Is for a one-person household is about 50% AMI, right? So that's that. If you're a one-person household working full-time, making minimum wage, I'm at about 50% AMI. So that'll give you some idea of where you are.
And it would make sense if a portion of Hickey Freeman employees would fit into that lower bracket.
I would think so. I don't know what portion, but some portion would.
Is the city or home leasing or New York State planning on enhancing any other parts of the area?
Yes. I'll tell you, I'll start with home leasing. Home leasing is also part of a project further up on North Clinton called the Lofts on North Clinton, I think is the former name. It was frankly, it was among, if not the worst housing in the city of Rochester. And we took it over from let's call him the previous owner, and are in the process of renovating it. So that's one. The city just completed a year or so ago, the International Plaza, that's 3 blocks south, which is a new real amenity in the neighborhood. Ibero and Edgemere are working on Pueblo Nuevo, which is more than 100 units of family housing. That's just a few blocks. And then CES Monarch has also done work. I think that's on Hudson or Joseph, a few other blocks to the east. So there's a lot of activity. I gotta be honest, there's a lot more work to be done in the neighborhood, but I've never seen this much momentum and investment in this area of the city in my career. It is good.
Can you elaborate a little bit more? I see the one bedroom, 650 square foot, proposed 13 units. Right underneath there, you say smaller units are located, and it gives where their location is. What's smaller than the 650 square foot?
I'm not sure what that's getting at. We do have some studio units. There are some units, it's because of its adaptive reuse project, there's all sorts of strange corners and places, but I don't know the specific location of the building. But you're talking about the square footage of those units?
Well, we've had conversations in the past that we don't want to see the lower income get less.
I got you.
And I've just wondered if you could elaborate a little bit more. Combined here, I see 13, 15, 26 units listed here out of the 134. So what's an average of the large, medium, and small units?
I don't have the square footage data, but we can provide that. One thing I can say is your concern is one that New York State HCR is very aware of, and they have standards that we have to meet. So our design does meet their standards. I know that because that's how it's designed.
Within 10%.
Right. Which page are you on, if you could tell me? Is it towards the
Page 50 in my package.
Oh, okay, so that's not gonna.
Other questions? Joe, did you have?
Yeah, do you know what that criteria is? Do you know what that square footage is? The state says that we have to.
Off the top of my head, I do not, but it's I can find it on the internet in 5 minutes. They have a design manual.
Can you tell me what the rent range is, bottom and top, what it would be?
Sure, I think it's 650 is the low end and 870 or something like that.
645 is the lowest rent we have.
Right.
And 870 is the highest.
So one caveat to that, though, is 8 of these units will also benefit from project-based Section 8 vouchers. So for 8 units, those tenants will pay only 30% of their income regardless of their income. And an additional 44 units will be subsidized, their rents will be subsidized by the Empire State Supportive Housing Initiative. So that's a total of 52 units of 134 will have a rent subsidy so that if you make less, even below 30% of the area median income, your rent burden. So for example, if somebody's on disability and they get $900 a month, their rent burden will be $270 a month, and the state will pay the difference. So that makes them very affordable.
Utilities included?
Yeah, we always include all utilities in our
So
rents.
all the utilities are included in those numbers?
Yes.
Other questions? Okay. All right, we had a public hearing on this item, August 17th. Were there any comments from that hearing? All right, thank you, Rachel. I'll ask you a few questions.
Oh, sure.
Are you aware of our local labor policy?
Yes.
And do you anticipate any local labor exemptions at this time?
No, we do not.
And are you aware that any exemptions need to be requested 45 days in advance?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, the seeker process is complete. I'll now move forward with the reading of the resolution.
A regular meeting.
Move to waive the reading of the resolution and subsequent resolutions.
Thank you, Jay, and seconded by Joe. Any additional comments on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, since we all have the resolutions in our book and we've read them. So now I'll ask for a motion for inducement and final resolution approving a custom real property tax abatement, mortgage recording tax, and sales tax exemptions. Been moved by Rhett, seconded by Joe. Any additional comments, questions? Okay, I'll take a roll call vote. Jay?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Rhett? Troy,
Yay.
Joe,
Yes.
Lisa is absent, and Ann is a yay. Motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck with
Good
that.
luck.
Thank you.
Very impressive project. Okay, next item is the DeMarti Companies, Inc. for Maris Systems Design as the tenant. Huh?
DeMarte Companies Incorporated is constructing a new 45,000 square foot building in the town of Ogden for its tenant Maris Systems Design, a related entity. Maris Systems Design designs and builds cutting-edge manufacturing equipment and robotics for the automotive, medical, energy, and consumer markets. This new facility will allow Maris Systems to grow and partner with new companies. Maris Systems plans to create 7 new FTEs in addition to its existing workforce of 61 FTEs. Maris will apply for benefits at a later date when equipment costs are finalized. The $5.6 million project is seeking a real property tax abatement, mortgage recording tax, and sales tax exemption. The cost-benefit ratio is 15-1.
Thanks, Anna. Do we have representatives here to speak to this project? Eric DeMarte and Amber Billings.
So just Eric today.
Hi, Eric.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Anything you want to elaborate on?
Sure. So Maris Systems is a company that designs and builds very high technology manufacturing solutions for companies around the globe. We've been targeting some new industries, new markets, which has turned into growth. We've currently outgrown our facility that we're renting, and we desperately need to move into a new, bigger facility. The types of projects that we do are cutting edge technology to help companies like General Motors or Bausch & Lomb or others develop their new manufacturing technologies for either making products or packaging products or testing them or some things of that nature. We have a pretty broad array of clients in several different industries by design. We try and have a diverse portfolio because industries can fluctuate. So we do work in, as was mentioned, the energy industry, medical industries, automotive, and consumer type products.
And you almost went to North Carolina?
We
that a rumor?
We considered many options.
What was the attraction for staying in Monroe County?
So our current workforce is primarily based in the west side of Rochester. There was an overwhelming desire to stay in the area by the employees. We've got a good solid customer base right here in Rochester. However, our larger clients are outside of the area.
Okay. Questions?
Any technology that we would know, that something that's been in use that we would know?
Sure. So we build robotic manufacturing lines that build things, right? So, the shark fin looking things that sit on top of your car, it's an antenna. So the latest ones have 5G, Wi-Fi, and GPS sensors built into those. So we build the manufacturing platform that makes those antennas that go on top of your car.
Yeah, the ones are even flat, I see.
Yeah, so there's some flat models, and then there's other ones that look like a shark fin.
Yeah, okay.
That's just one example. Other machines we do build contact lenses. So we actually manufacture equipment that actually makes the lens, tests the prescriptions, things of that nature.
Very good.
Okay, any other questions? All right, we had a public hearing on August 12th. Were there any comments from that meeting, Rachel?
There were not, but representatives from the town did attend, but did not come.
Okay, thank you. All right, are you aware of our local labor policy?
Yes.
And do you anticipate any local labor exemptions at this time?
After that previous comment, I'm worried about the steel, but I I hadn't been anticipating any issues.
Hopefully not. Okay. Are you aware that any exemptions need to be requested 45 days in
Yes.
advance? Okay.
Yep.
Great. So the seeker process is complete. We have waived the reading of the resolution. I will ask for a motion for inducement and final resolution approving a real property tax abatement, a mortgage recording tax, and sales tax exemptions.
Motion.
Thanks. Motion by Joe. Second by Jay. Any additional comments, questions? All right, I'll take a roll call vote. Jay?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Brett? Troy?
Yeah.
Joe?
Yes.
Lisa is absent and Ann is a yay. Motion carries. Congratulations. Thanks for staying in Monroe County.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, now we have a whole bunch of project modifications. And the first one is Facility 4, which involves an increase of a previously approved project. And so Anna, you want to tell us about it?
Facility 4 Incorporated, a real estate holding company, is constructing a new 40,000 square foot structural steel fabrication facility in the city of Rochester for its tenant Raymar Steel Sales Incorporated, a related entity. This new facility will allow for a more streamlined approach to process and better serve customers. Facility 4 was originally approved by the board in January 2021 for mortgage recording tax exemption, sales tax exemption, and a property tax abatement. The applicant is requesting an increase in project costs of $1,209,050 to purchase a CNC drilling and sawing line that was not included in the original application. The total project cost is now $5,259,050, and the new sales tax exemption benefit amount increases from $194,000 to $290,724.
Thank you, Anna. We have representatives here to speak to this item, Jason Randall, Tony Randall, and Adam Altamanda.
Hi, Tony Randall, and this is Adam Altamanda. Jason, my son, couldn't be here. First off, I'd like to thank you for considering our request. Our project that was granted last year through the board is coming along great, looks great, and everybody's really excited about it. I'd like to thank you for that as well. The reason that we're adding this on is last year, around January, when we came to you for the original project, this terrible thing called COVID came along, and our machine supplier that's based in Italy, they do high-tech fabrication cell facilities, set up material handling systems. They kind of shut down. Our project fell behind as well because of manpower shortages like we heard earlier, and the ability to get the project started. Well, after it, we all slowed down. Our building is coming on fantastically. The company that we buy the fabrication equipment for is back up and running. They came to us so they can meet their original delivery date. And internally, it would be so much easier and more cost effective if we, in lieu of keeping our old machinery and doing this down the road, if it can be installed while we're installing the other machines that we bought. So and the machine is probably, I want to say, the highest tech fabrication cell in Western New York region, and we're kind of proud of that too. It'll also enhance our production. And by enhancing our production, we can be busier. We plan on fabricating more steel than we also erect steel, but we're also going to fabricate more so we can start subbing out to different erectors in the Western New York region. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. It just makes more sense for us to have them install both machines at one time rather than coming at a later date and disrupting our program.
So that's why the CNC drilling and sawing line wasn't planned for
It was planned, yeah, it was planned for, and they could not because of COVID, they shut their facility down. They couldn't even answer us as to whether we would be able to get one in time.
I see.
You know, our building should be complete in about 2 months, complete to where we can start setting up machinery. And they're working really hard for, you know, to get this delivered in that time frame. They say we're one of our best customers, but they're also trying to sell us a machine, so. You know, not to be, so, but that's pretty much it. My son Jason couldn't be here. My son Adam is on vacation, and they both wanted me to thank you for our original request, and we're very, very proud of it. We're a third-generation company, been around for about 50 years and went from 4 employees to rapidly approaching 65. So we're proud of what we've done, and we'd like to continue that. Thank you.
So even with COVID, you're not asking for an extension on time.
No,
You're just asking for the increase
yes,
for this
we're
equipment.
moving along rapidly
Yeah.
on the other
Good for
building.
you. Good for
Yeah,
you.
we're trying. We're proud. It's great.
Overcoming a lot of hurdles,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, it's going along great.
Any questions from the board? That was a very thorough update.
So when the equipment comes, do you anticipate using local riggers and to help with getting them set in place, or?
Yes, they'll, between our people, which are riggers as well, we'll bring everything in the facility, but they do send 2 tradesmen from the plant overseas to come and set the actual machine up, but all of the rigging and placement of the machines will be done with local labor.
Any other questions? Okay. We have waived the reading of the resolution, so I'll now ask for a motion to approve an increase in project costs of $1.209, $1,209,050. Is there a motion? Moved by Jay, seconded by Joe. Any other comments, questions? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Howard Paul Road LLC is another project modification. And we, can you tell us about that? Sure.
Howitt Paul Road LLC is proposing to complete its senior housing community in the town of Chili. Phase 3 of the project consists of 3 buildings containing 92 residential units, tenant common areas, commercial spaces, and storage units. Phase 1 was approved for the Jobs Plus property tax abatement in June of 2011. Phase 3 was approved in November 2020 for a mortgage recording tax exemption and sales tax exemption. The applicant is requesting an increase in project costs of $4,254,845 as the original costs were underestimated, in addition to cost increases due to the pandemic. The total project cost is now $22,065,865, and the new sales tax exemption benefit amount increases from $471,127 to $807,970.
Thank you. And we have 2 representatives here, Jack Howitt and Scott Dosher. Thank you. Would you like to elaborate on that? Tell us more and how come, such a big increase?
Thank you. We planned and budgeted just before COVID hit. And with COVID, we experienced increases in material costs that were beyond our expectations and obviously beyond our budgeting. I'll give you a couple of examples. Lumber, $2,293,000 just in lumber increases in costs. Roofing, again, that was not affected nearly as much, $21,490. Exterior siding problems and about exterior siding and all materials related,
are a matter of $925,800. Windows and doors are $288,400.
These are all just increases over what you'd planned.
Over
All
budget
of them,
numbers.
yeah.
We did our budgeting in November and December of just before the COVID problem hit in February and March. And obviously, we were well under budgeted. We've made our peace with our funders and our own budgeting internally, and we're able to go forward, but we're looking to you for extending our tax exempt status on materials that we're faced with. These are just very large 4-story buildings, and they're all frame, and that's where all those material costs come through, particularly the lumber costs.
Thank you for that. Did you want to make any additional remarks? No. Questions from the board?
It's a shock.
It's a big shock.
It's unbelievable.
It's hard to make up, for sure. It's a big difference. Any other questions from the board?
Yeah, I have a question.
Red?
So would you be able to tell me approximately how much you underestimated the project? Approximately?
Yeah, I would say we're about $5.5 million off in the underestimation.
Not counting materials.
No, that's materials and labor. Let's see.
The part that we were under budgeted mostly with drywall. We missed the mark there by about $650,000. So that's the bulk of where we were under budgeted, but the rest is all just really materials that Jack's spoken.
So is the drywall missed, that 600,000, that's the labor part of it?
Was labor and material.
Labor and material.
Yeah.
Okay. But the bulk of the overall miss
Overall,
is
that
materials?
piece.
Yes. Yeah.
That piece was combined. We didn't buy it separately.
Other questions?
Thank you.
Good luck.
All right. So we've waived the reading of the resolution because we've all read them in our packets. So I'll ask for a motion to approve an increase in project costs of $4.254,865. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Jay, seconded by Red. Any additional comments, questions? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Good luck.
Congratulations. Big project.
Yes.
We're happy we can help. All right. Next project modification is Dell 3750 Monroe Avenue Associates LLC for Integron and Core Wireless.
Dell 3750 Monroe Avenue Associates LLC, a real estate holding company, is renovating an existing portion of a building in the town of Pittsburgh for a new tenant, Integron LLC or Core Wireless. Core Wireless is moving from their current facility in the town of Gates into this new larger location to accommodate growth. In June 2021, the applicant received a sales tax exemption on construction materials. The allocation between labor and materials was incorrect on the original budget. In addition, materials have increased in cost and the scope of work has also slightly increased. As a result, the total project costs have increased by $35,000 and the applicant is requesting an increase in sales tax exemption from $14,080 to $40,000.
Okay, thank you. We have Louis Norrie here to comment on this. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm not exactly sure how the allocation between labor and materials wound up in the final application at 90% labor and 10% materials. I wasn't the last one to hold the piece of paper, But obviously, that's a mistake. In addition, we went out to the major subs and asked them for their estimates of sales tax versus labor and in their numbers, and they substantially underestimated it as well, because they all just did it on the phone while they were thinking about it. And so now that we're signing contracts and ordering stuff and getting ready to go, we've made everybody go and fix all of their numbers. Maison Building Services Group, who was doing this job for us, did a lot of the work on getting these allocations, and when it all came in to start ordering stuff, they caught the mistake and called all the subs up, and now it's correct. We'll be starting construction based on the fire marshal of the town of Pittsford. We don't anticipate any delays unless we get some, again, enormous delay in the issuance of a building permit. No one has had any issues with local labor. We're not doing anything that should require anything other than local labor. And Integron Core is in the midst of going public by being acquired by another company and by a special purpose acquisition company. And largely as a result of this, I don't know if it was explained to you last time, basically what it is they do, but 2G and 3G wireless are going away, and everything is going to have to be 4 and 5G. And they upgrade, manufacture, and program the Internet of Things. So if you were in a drug trial and had a tablet from Eli Lilly where you're supposed to be recording what you drank and how much you ate and any bad reactions, if that was 3G before, it's now got to get a new one. And I went to their place in Gates, you can't walk around. The fire marshal would not be happy. And they're already storing more stuff in the space, an additional vacancy, and we anticipate they're going to grow.
Great. Other questions? All right.
I apologize for the mistakes.
It happens, right? Thank you for that explanation. We appreciate that. We will waive the reading of the resolution. I'll call for a motion to approve an increase in project costs of $35,000. Been moved by Troy, seconded by Rhett. Any additional comments, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you all very much.
Congratulations. Thank you. Okay, the next item is Pro-Am Pack Rochester LLC. This is a project modification and an extension. Anna?
Thank you. Pro-Am Rochester LLC is a global manufacturer of flexible packaging solutions. The company is constructing a 24,000 square foot collaboration and innovation center at its manufacturing facility in the town of Ogden. The $5.9 million project was originally approved in March of 2020. The project was approved for a Jobs Plus property tax abatement and a sales tax exemption. The applicant is seeking an extension of the sales tax exemption through December 31st, 2021 because of construction and purchasing delays.
I'll ask for a motion to approve an extension of the sales tax exemption through December 31, 2021. Moved by Joe, seconded by Jay. Any other comments? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Rochester Riverfront Properties, LP Hamister Real Estate Equity Fund Assignment Assumption.
Thank you. Hamister Real Estate Equity Fund has entered into an agreement to purchase the building located at 1000 Genesee Street in the city of Rochester. The current tenant is Staybridge Suites, which will remain. The applicant is requesting approval to assume the real property tax abatement.
Okay, and we have Daniel Hamister.
Yep.
And Michael Burton here with us.
He's not here, just me.
Just Superman.
Just Superman. That's right.
Okay. So anything you'd like to elaborate on for us?
None. So we've actually been here for over 20 years. We actually have a property in Pittsburgh Heights, senior housing as well. And we're looking to purchase this property. And With that, one of the things we need to do is obviously assume this pilot. Our intent is to keep the use the same and also keep staffing that we're going to be inheriting. We'll be keeping that those levels. So that's basically it.
Questions? Okay, thank you very much. I'll ask for a motion then to approve the sale of the facility and assignment of the real property tax abatement. Moved by Jay, seconded by Joe. Any other comments? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next item is the marketplace. This is a pilot modification, and I'll have Anna tell us a little bit more about it.
Certainly, thank you. In furtherance of efforts to transform the Marketplace Mall, the Marketplace has requested that this agency amend the pilot agreement payment schedule with respect to 2022 Town of Henrietta and Monroe County tax years and the 2021-2022 Rush Henrietta Central School District tax year for the main mall parcel and the Macy's parcel pilot payments only. The town and school district have each granted their respective support for this agency and the Marketplace to amend and modify the terms of the pilot agreement as it relates to the main mall parcel and the Macy's parcel.
You want to elaborate?
Sure. This is a pilot agreement that calls for fixed pilot payments over the course of 15 years, I believe. The fixed pilot payments negotiated in 2013 yield a higher amount than what would be paid if the property were paying real property taxes without a pilot agreement. So the stakeholders come together and they adjust the payment. It is still a bit higher than what they would be paying if it was on the tax roll and being assessed. But this is the agreement that the mall owners and the town and school have done. This is our fourth time adjusting the payment for this mall.
Any questions for Rachel or Anna or? Okay, all right. Thank you, Rachel and Anna. I will ask now for a motion then to amend and modify the terms of the pilot agreement as it relates to the main mall parcel and the Macy's parcel. For a motion? By Troy, seconded by Joe. Any other comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. All right, next item is we're completed all of our projects. And Jay Popley, who chairs our governance committee, will give us a report.
Thank you, Ann. We met, the governance committee met earlier this morning to review a proposal to an RFP that was solicited in early July for a workforce development training program. MCC submitted, and they submitted a continuation of the Empower program. And the governance committee is recommending full approval by the board of this program. And I will be happy to entertain any questions, which I would likely defer over to Anna.
Thanks, Jay. And I want to turn your attention to some backup materials provided to us by MCC. And Kristen Simekins with Monroe Community College is here with us today to answer any technical questions that you might have about the proposal. Yeah, and if it's okay with the board, I'd love to invite Kristen to just say a few words about the program. Sure. And I shared some background with the governance committee earlier, but it'd be great to hear from you, Kristen.
Great. Well, thank you for having me here today. I am the new acting vice president for the division. Dr. Oldham has moved on, but he has left a wonderful wonderful legacy behind him here. I've been with the division since it was formed, which is almost 10 years, and share his passion that he had. So we're very excited about this program and the opportunity to continue with Empower, particularly in light of the Forward Center, which is our Finger Lakes Workforce Development Center, that we are and planning for it to launch in the beginning of 2022. So that's very exciting. These programs, these Empower programs, the short cycle training fits perfectly within the mission of that particular facility. And so it's just perfect timing.
Questions? I have one quick question. I see we put approximately 1,400 people through the program in the last 3 years, which is fantastic. Do you track how many were placed in jobs and how many are still in those jobs? And if you do, is that data you can share?
I believe that it is tracked. I will find out and I will communicate that back through Anna.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Kristen, the building trades and Todd had a really good relationship going, and if I could get and share contact information with you, that'd be great. 'Cause
Absolutely.
I don't want to see, as I see things, it takes a long time to get to that point where we work on stuff, and I don't want to drop this because there was 5 years of working on some stuff. So.
Absolutely, and I want you to rest assured, like I said, I've been working side by side with Todd for close to 10 years, so we certainly want to continue any momentum that we have.
Welcome.
Thank you.
The other piece of information I'd like to know is out of those 1,400 people, how many have remained in the county?
I will find out. My assumption or my guess would be that probably all of them.
Or a large portion.
Or a large portion of them, yes, yeah.
A lot of the stories from those who have gone through the programs are heartwarming.
They
are. They finally have the skills to have a real job, real income.
Particularly with COVID and all the shakeup that's caused, it's a real opportunity for people to start something new.
Kristen, is that something that would be tracked? People staying in the county versus moving on?
We certainly can, absolutely. The program is a county program, so we use it primarily, it's to support county residents, whether that's an individual or an incumbent worker through an employer. So as I mentioned before, I would imagine that the majority of these folks do stay in the county, but I will certainly put forward that we'd like to track that information as much as we can.
Any other comments or questions on this? All right, Jay, do you want to?
So the governance committee did meet and we are recommending approval of this program, which is for 3 years, $1.5 million. And I will make that motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Joe. Any other comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you
Kristen.
so much for the opportunity.
Okay, executive director discussion items on the list. It's a long list.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
I will turn it over to you.
Of course, thank you. Joining us here today is Erica Fee. Erica is the president of the Rochester Fringe Festival. Erica provided this board with a new and revised application requesting financial assistance from COMIDA for the Fringe Festival. Fringe organizers specify in this application that the request is to go towards expenses directly related to COMIDA's priority of workforce development by paying 25 plus employees who will receive on-the-job training in event production, customer service. Also sales management, technical skills training and development, working with web-based platforms and crowd management. The Fringe Festival organizers will measure success through review of training provided and skills developed, as well as the number of jobs filled and number of hours worked, and progress will be tracked by staff managing the roles. And I'll also add that Fringe is going to be recognizing Monroe County's bicentennial this year. And I'd love to invite Erica up to the podium to speak a little bit more about Fringe this year and answer questions for the board.
Thank you for the opportunity. So tomorrow, we are going to be the annual festival lineup this year with 425 performances across a 12-day period in September. We've been very grateful for COMIDA's support in the past. Thank you for that. As you may know, the performing arts sector for the whole of the United States generates $919 billion in revenue every year, with 2019 figures of $20 billion in ticket sales alone. In Rochester, the Fringe is able to provide a unique opportunity for not just those who are trying to get involved in the performing arts backstage, of course, as Anna mentioned, but also those who would like to get on stage too. And we actually tend to have 1,200 to 1,600 performing artists involved in the Fringe. So it's really become a powerhouse of a festival. In 2019, we were able to generate $578,000 of earned ticket income alone, with an additional, on top of that, $172,000 paid to curated artists. For this year, we are expecting to create approximately 100 jobs directly through the festival, with an additional 1,200 to 1,600 artists, as I mentioned. And then our venues also have hundreds of jobs on top of that as well. I'm happy to answer any questions about the festival.
Thank you for that. Questions?
The only request that I would have, and I think Anna might have talked to you about this, if you could break the $30,000 out in more detail. It's certainly supportive of this. I think that anything that provides workforce development and to train people in these, particularly in the arts, is certainly worth supporting. But we'd
Sure.
like to see more detail.
Yeah, we're able to provide that. That's not a problem.
Thank you.
Do you see some of these volunteers coming back year after year?
Yes, we do. They are wonderful, and they do come back year after year. We always have new volunteers, though, too, many from our higher educational partners. As a festival, we have purposely decided to partner with higher educational institutions, University of Rochester, RIT, St. John Fisher, SUNY Brockport, SUNY Geneseo, and Nazareth College. And we are able to provide not just platforms for those artists, but from those universities, but also chances for their students to actually get downtown. And many of our partner higher ed institutions tell us it's the one time of year that they actually are able to get their students off campus and downtown. So we're really trying to create a healthy downtown environment. We want the students to feel grounded, have a sense of place. And that was one of the reasons we established the festival. In addition to trying to get new audiences into our venues. As many of you know, when you attend to some venues around town, it looks like the same people everywhere. We're really trying to get some new blood into those audiences, into those venues. And we have had very, very strong reports that many venues have had approximately 40% new audiences following their Fringe participation. So it's really boosted them, not just during the Fringe, but year round. Sorry, that was a long answer to that question.
Any other questions? All right. Okay, I'll ask for a motion to approve a contract with the 2021 Fringe Festival for $30,000. Is there a motion? Moved by Brett and seconded by Jay. Any other questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Did we have it last year? We had it last year. No, we didn't.
Well, there
have
was a remote Fringe, cyber-only Fringe last year, right?
Yes, we had 170 online productions.
Yeah, but no in person.
No in person. Okay.
Certainly. Our next item under Executive Director discussion items is the Rochester Summerslam Music Festival. This applicant has specified that they are requesting $7,500 in support from COMIDA to go towards a job fair at the festival. Per the application, Amazon, CGI Communications, Wegmans, Salvatore's, Visions Federal Credit Union, City of Rochester, and various area charter schools will be on site at this festival recruiting job applicants at the event. And there will also be a pop-up vaccination effort at the event involving Monroe County and Common Ground Health. The $7,500, however, will go specifically to the job fair, and the applicant will measure success by providing us with data about success in terms of recruitment at the job fair and successful hiring activity. Robin Finnerty is here. I think she's going to be pulling up the applicant by phone. I can answer any questions if the board has questions.
Hello.
Hello, hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? You are now live with our board. You have our 6 board members plus our executive director on a list who just kind of gave our board a little update on what's going on with the festival.
And this is.
Absolutely, I'm watching the stream live. I've been watching it since noon, so.
Oh, right.
Hello, board members, how are you this morning? This afternoon?
Good, thank you. And just so everyone knows, this is Varick Baina, CEO and Media and Major Event Specialist for the Rochester Summerslam Music Festival.
Yes, so just to give you a little quick history, I'm Rochester born and raised, Monroe from Monroe County, the 19th Ward, went to Wilson High School, from there went to Syracuse and then Howard University as well in DC. So I'm back and forth from, having this, my company Experience Live is actually the contract. I got the contract from the city in 2018, and currently celebrating the 25th annual Rochester Summerslam Music Festival. So like the other great events that the city has, the Jazz Festival, Lilac Festival, and Cornhill Festival, I'm very proud to represent the Summerslam Music Festival, which will happen August 28th this year at Frontier Field. So we're working with Dan Mason and very proud to be doing that. We know that Frontier Field is a Monroe County facility, and we're very, very proud to be this being our 3rd year to work with Dan Mason and the county. So just to tell you a little bit more, so of course the main event is the Rochester Summerslam Music Festival, which happens the night of August 28th from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. This year we're featuring Boyz II Men and other national acts, but a really, really important part of this festival is our free community block party and job fair that we do every year. As part of the block party, we have, a bunch of, as Robin said earlier, we have a bunch of local companies that participate, in the job fair, such as CGI, Wegmans, Salvatore's is actually our title sponsor this year, City of Rochester and others. And this is a huge and key portion of our entire weekend because it's our opportunity to actually give back to the community, and that's why that portion is free. We also have up to 50 vendors on site where they're able to, come in and sell their products as well. As part of the event, we also hire up to 80 employees, of course, via Frontier Field. And also we're working with Northeastern Production, who has up to 20 to 30 members that come in and do our staging and production and everything that goes around there. So we make sure that, all of the staffing and everything comes from the city of Rochester. We're also dealing with, we'll also have the
community, sorry about that, guys. We also have, sorry about that, Chamber of Commerce on board this year, and also RVA Staffing, which I know is affiliated with the city of Rochester as well. So, we're just super excited. We know that it's the county's bicentennial as well this year, so we're tying into those efforts as well, and also have been involved with vaccination initiatives leading up to the festival. We've had about 4 events already to push vaccinations for COVID-19 to make sure that we're all safe. And also, we've also invited out, County Executive Adam Bello, and he is accepted. And we'll also be on site to talk about the bicentennial and the importance of, entertainment and also jobs and equity within, Monroe County. So if there's any other questions, I would definitely be happy, to answer them. And we certainly appreciate the opportunity to apply for COMIDA for the 7,500. It will help out with our, of course, the venue rental, as well as, staffing support, tents, tables, chairs, everything that we need to run the festival. So
Okay.
thanks a bunch. Sorry I ran on and on, but
That's all right.
it in a
It's all very
nutshell.
helpful. Thank you for that. Do we have questions from the board on this?
Eric, I have a question. Have we asked the Amazons, the CGIs, the Wegmans, and the Salvatores to help? At the end of the day, they're gonna benefit from this. It's not a whole bunch of money. I see it going either way, but this is chump change for some of these people listed for a job fair. My experience, I just recently, Local 46 paid $750 to be a participant of a job fair at the Doubletree. With Wegmans and Salvatore's and Amazon and CGI, have we even reached out to see if they would support their own job fair?
All have supported for sure in their own ways. A lot of that support went directly toward the music portion, which is an expense of over $250,000. So a lot of their support went directly to that, and not so much the community block party and job fair. So, and this too being a transitional year, we definitely thank, companies like Wegmans and Salvatore's and CGI for coming out and supporting. However, their support, unfortunately is not as, big as it is for the Jazz Festival, which, we of course asked for this year since the Jazz Festival is not happening. But, their dollars, a lot of their dollars have been put back into the business to hold staffing for their own companies and ensure that, they can stay afloat through these trying times as well. So we have received some support. It just didn't go directly toward the job fair.
Okay, thank you. Other questions? All right. I'll ask for a motion to approve a contract with the 2021 Rochester Summer Soul Music Festival for $7,500. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Jay, seconded by Tony. Any other comments? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Opposed.
Oh, one opposing. All right, thank you, Troy. And thank you, Eric, for joining us. Is he gone?
Thanks a lot.
Oh, he's
I
still there.
truly appreciate
Thank you, and good luck to you.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Certainly appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Okay, PTAC funding, Jana.
Thank you. You'll recall in May of 2020, COMIDA retained Bonadio to perform a miniature audit of PTAC, which stands for the Procurement Technical Assistance Center. One of the suggestions that came out of that audit was cleaning up the funding for PTAC, really streamlining it. Currently, COMIDA is the sponsoring agency for PTAC. All PTAC employees are COMIDA employees, and COMIDA is responsible for PTAC according to the federal government because COMIDA is the sponsoring agency. MCIDC is the agency that directly has been funding PTAC. PTAC currently, up until now, is only reported to the MCIDC board on performance because that is where the funding was being sourced. So by COMIDA becoming the funding source, this would allow for more oversight for this board, which is as it should be because we are technically the sponsoring agency in the eyes of the Department of Defense. Right now, there is a 60-40 split between the Department of Defense and MCIDC, and that breakdown will remain the same. The total amount to fund PTAC is slightly over $91,260. This will also further our attempts in streamlining operations and fully separating COMIDA and MCIDC financially and operationally. I also have a couple of quick highlights to share about the PTAC program. It's funded through a cooperative agreement with the Department of Defense. And as of October 1st of this year, administration of PTAC program will move from, the Defense Logistics Agency Office of Small Business to the Department of Defense Acquisition and Sustainment Office of Small Business Programs at the Pentagon. This will give the program higher visibility through the defense acquisition system. It's viewed as a positive move across the board. PTAC funds are congressionally appropriated through the Department of Defense budget. Congress, through bipartisan efforts, is a huge supporter of the program and has increased funding by $4 million this coming fiscal year. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand from the Senate Armed Services Committee and Congressman Joe Morelli, who sits on the House Armed Services Committee, are strong supporters of the PTAC. And as you will hear from Anna Boulay-Fitzsimmons, our PTAC manager, our numbers locally in terms of its impact on small business community are very positive. So I'd love for the board to welcome Anna, give Anna an opportunity to say a few words and answer questions.
Hi, good afternoon. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. So as Anna mentioned, the program, I work for the Monroe County Finger Lakes Procurement Technical Assistance Center. We cover the 9-county Finger Lakes territory. We are actually one of 95 centers across the United States and the territories, and one of 7 in New York State. We provide free government contract counseling to businesses that want to sell to the government. We help small businesses, we help large businesses, and we work closely with agencies on military, federal, state, and municipal levels, all across the board. So the 3 key areas of our work include training, and we do that through webinars, and we actually have a live workshop coming up in September, which will be right in this room. We also provide a government to business matchmaker, usually a very large one on an annual basis. We've been somewhat thwarted with COVID. So last year we did a live one with PTACs in Ohio and Pennsylvania and called it the Tri-State Matchmaker, which was quite successful. But then Congressman Morelli's office approached us. So we are planning to host one on October 18th with County Executive Adam Bello, and we're really excited about that. Keeping our fingers crossed that we can still host a lot of that. It will be, if all goes well, over at the International Hall over at the airport, and the goal is to get buyers from the government arena in the room with small businesses and get that meet and greet and that first step to helping them sell to the government. But really the bulk of our work is done one-on-one. That's where we'll meet with the business. A majority of them, as I said, are small businesses, make sure that they have the capabilities to do business with the government. So we're not doing a lot of work with startups and entrepreneurs. We'll partner with the SBDC and the SBA and the Manufacturing Extension Partnership to help them do that. Unless they're doing small business innovation research type grants and things of that nature, then it's stated that we are to assist them in those arenas, which we do. We do one-on-one assistance with all the registrations and the certifications at the federal and state and pretty soon to be local level. I think over at Monroe County, which will be great. And so like your MWBE, New York State ESD, MWBE, and I'm sorry, I speak in acronyms because I live in the world of acronyms, so stop me at any point. So your minority and women business enterprise certifications through the state. We work very closely with the Small Business Administration on their 8A minority partnership, which is a 9-year certification program that you either grow out or, graduate out of after 9 years. Hub zone certifications, things of that nature, that goes on and on. But we're really excited to continue working on the program. We have some new staff. We have some great offices that we've been moved down to, thank you, Anna, with some great exposure. As you can see in our packet, in terms of the numbers and the criteria for our reporting, even though it was COVID, the businesses had a fairly decent year, and these aren't final numbers yet for our year. Our fiscal year starts September 1st and it goes through the end of August. We had, for overall, in terms of contract reporting dollars, it was 85.1 million. We've surpassed all our goals. We are required to continuously report and are audited by the Department of Defense on a regular basis, as well as our third-party auditors, which makes things nice and clean and easy and simple at the end of the year. You can see some upcoming programs that we have, and as well as those that we've hosted so far during this year. On August 26th, we are hosting a webinar for minority and women business certifications on both federal and state.
What was our funding for people last year? Just one, wait.
They can be, but not necessarily, as defined by both the state and federal government. There is a specific definition for minorities, which white women do not qualify for.
And Anne had a question about funding last year, so to clarify some of my remarks a moment ago, it was the $90,000 came through MCIDC, whereby COMIDA is viewed by the Department of Defense as the sponsoring agency.
Right.
And so Anna and her team are considered COMIDA employees where the money was coming from MCIDC. So when we retained Bonadio for this audit, it was recommended that we contain the relationship within COMIDA specifically, just for accounting purposes. And as you heard from Anna, the program is very positive in its metrics and has a great impact on the local business community.
Questions by others? Okay. So I'll ask for a motion to approve the funding for the PTAC program for fiscal years September 1, 2021 to August 31, 2022 for $91,260. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Jay, seconded by Tony. Any other comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your very thorough report. We appreciate it. Okay. Now we have some staff issues. Are we going into executive session for
No,
that?
we do not need to, unless, I'm sorry.
Normally, when we discuss staffing and salaries and so forth, we go into executive session.
We can do that.
Oh, okay, I apologize.
No, that's fine.
Thank you.
All right.
We need a motion to go to executive
Yeah.
session.
Yeah. So someone would like to make a motion. Moved by Jay, seconded by Joe. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we are in executive session.
You're like, you're